Hey, Beastista here, and welcome back to the VDL Season 8. We are here for the first round of playoffs against the MK Mimikyus. So the MK Mimikyus are definitely a good coach. They end up going 5 wins this season. However, they're definitely the team I wanted to play against because my only other match would have been a Week 8 rematch. In addition to that, the matchup, however, is pretty scary, but I definitely think I have some strengths. A part of the matchup is they have Tapu Fini Thievul, which Thievul can outspeed my entire team with the Unburden boost. Tapu Fini is also pretty hard for me to deal with offensively. I only have a few mons that really threaten it if it's particularly bulky, especially if it's like a Calm Mind Tapu Fini. In addition to that, they have a lot of ways to mitigate my damage with Snarls from the Thievul, Snarls, Baby Doll Eyes, and Intimidate from the Stoutland. In addition to that, they have some pretty good offensive threats in Aegislash and Centiskorch, and even Avalog, which has really good defense and can have Iron Defense and Body Press. One of the good things about the matchup for me is, however, their team does not have a lot of fast mons that can actually survive ice moves particularly well. Because if you look at the top, their 3 fastest mon, Naganadel, Thundurus, and Sigalith, all are weak to ice, which means that though they can be annoying, they can be pretty easily dealt with, which means I should be able to get good speed once I'm able to deal with Thievul, because I can deal with most of the must. And so with that, here is the team I ended up bringing. So we start with Ninetales. This is the main basis of my team, which is Light Clay Ninetales with Aurora Bell. The idea is to set up screens, and with the screens, I'm been able to be very hard to kill and be able to grind through the stuff. They only have one mon that can learn Brick Break, which is going to be the Aegislash. So if they don't bring Aegislash or they don't bring Brick Break on Aegislash, I'm guaranteed to get 8 turns of screens, which would be really big. Next to Ninetales, and normally I'm going to pair it with one of the 2 bottoms in the bottom right, which are Weavile and Mr. Rhyme, who both have Fake Out. The idea behind this is to fake out a Scarf Mon that might be able to kill Ninetales, or fake out a Mon that can theoretically have Taunt to taunt the Aurora Bell. And then from there, just do some offensive coverage. The Ninetales is Icy Wind for speed control because a lot of my Mons that I care about offensively, which is namely the Rodent and Mr. Rhyme, are not that fast, and at -1 they should outspeed almost everything on their team. Other than that, I guess we can just go down to the Weavile and the Mr. Rhyme. The Weavile's got triple axle throw chop to hit most things. The throw chop does double duty because not only is it a stab move that does pretty good damage, I'm expecting to see Snarl, which is a sound-based move, and both Stoutland and Thievul. And so hitting one of them with throw chop can prevent them from snarling. So if I'm paired next to something like one of my special attackers, I can prevent them from lowering the special coverage. And then Poison Jab as my last move, specifically for Tapu Fini. Next, we have Mr. Rhyme. So I have weakness policy on Rhyme. Obviously, weakness policy can be very powerful at dealing with moves like Flash Cannon or Flame or Heat Waves or things like that. But the main idea behind weakness policy is that I don't want my special attack dropped by Snarl. And so I can't really run White Herb, for example, because Intimidate would proc it and I wouldn't get the benefits. So weakness policy is mainly there as a means to, instead of lowering my special attack if I get hit by Snarl, I actually increase it up to +1 after the defense drop or after the special attack drop from the Snarl. I have the Freeze Dry for Tapu Fini mainly, but also can hit Naganadel, the other fast mons. We have Shadow Ball for Aegislash, and honestly, Shadow Ball just hits a lot of the team on their a lot of their team for neutral. And then finally, we have Focus Blast specifically for Avalog and for Stoutland, in which at +1, I should guarantee kill both of them with Focus Blast. And so other than that, we can go to, I guess we'll start the Arctivish, which the idea is to pair with the Ninetales, but namely it's going to be in the back. Gives me an ability to outspeed pretty much anything on their team that's not Thievul with the Unburden boost or Scarf Mon. And Vicious Wren, Iso Crash hits everything on their team pretty well. The only thing it doesn't hit for super or for at least neutral is the Tapu Fini. We got Super Fang to do good damage to a max HP Tapu Fini, and then Rock Tomb to lower the speed of some mons and most notably when I'm not in hell, I can lower their speed and then outspeed them and get the boosted Vicious Rend. Our final two mons are our big damage outputs with Rotom with Specs. So Thunderbolt Specs Rotom has a very good chance to one-hit KO Tapu Fini, which makes it very good at dealing with that. In addition, Thunderbolt does 50+% to almost everything on their team. And my Rotom is also pretty bulky, so I can take pretty good hits, especially with Aurora Veil up. And finally, we have Choice Band Darmanitan. Darmanitan, Choice Band, Real Tactics does massive damage. It pretty much one-shots everything on their team that's not Tapu Fini. If I click the right move. And with Aurora Veil, it actually takes a fair number of hits. So that's my team. And with that, let's get into the match. So here we are for game one. So looking at their team, the big thing we notice is, one, they don't have any of their fast mons, which I was somewhat expecting one of their fast mons like Nugonodil or Thundurus with Scarf. And since they don't have that, I definitely want to lead the Ninetales. And the big question is do I want to lead Rhyme or Weavile? I decided on Mr. Rhyme because I'm a little bit concerned of specifically Avalog, because Avalog's really good physically defensive, and so the special Mr. Rhyme seems like it could be really relevant. With the Hell already being up, I think Arctivish seems like a good mon in the back, and then Rotom as a mon just kind of to finish up special coverage and also to deal with the more physically bulky mons. So with that, let's get into the match. So my opponent leads Tapu Fini Aegislash, which is a little bit awkward, but not that bad. The issue with this is that Aegislash is the mon I want to fake out, but it's a ghost mon, so I obviously can't fake it out. We get the the Hell up, and we also reveal that Tapu Fini is not Scarfed, which definitely wouldn't expect it to be. And it just gets the Misty Surge going up. So here, I definitely think the play is just go to Aurora Veil. It's a little bit awkward if they have Brick Break on the Aegislash. However, both of my mons resist or neutral to fighting, so it's not that big of a deal. And so here I'm just debating if I want to go for the Freeze Dry into the Tapu Fini or the Shadow Ball into Aegislash. The Tapu Fini, 2 hits from Freeze Dry likely kill Tapu Fini if it's not that bulky. However, Aegislash is the more offensively threatening one. So Tapu Fini ends up just going for a Protect, and I get the Aurora Veil up. And so, like I said, this Aurora Veil is really a key part of my strategy. And with this, I hope to be able to take a lot more of these hits generally. Aegislash ends up going for a Substitute instead of a Steel move, and so that was definitely something I was not expecting to see. So I'm able to get Aurora Veil without taking any damage, and we reveal that the Aegislash is probably very bulky because it has leftovers. And so now we're just kind of in the position where we just hope that they don't have Brick Break with the Aegislash. And so here, I definitely want to break the sub on the Aegislash so that I can kill it with some of my mons in the back, or maybe even with the Mr. Rhyme. And so I just go for the Freeze Dry into Tapu Fini to get some good chip, and then the Shadow Ball, which should pretty much guarantee break the sub if they don't go for a King Shield this turn. So the Freeze Dry does go up, and we're able to do pretty good damage, about 30% of the Tapu Fini. However, it reveals to be Weakness Policy. As I clicked this, I definitely was not surprised to see the Weakness Policy. It's not the end of the world, but definitely something that is annoying. Here, though, we are able to get the Shadow Ball, and we should be able to break the sub. Even though Tapu Fini is at +2, we saw that with the Veil up, it actually doesn't do too much damage. So Aegislash decides to go for the attack, and they end up going for the Flash Cannon into Mr. Rhyme, which is definitely surprised because Mr. Rhyme is able to take that, where it would have definitely killed the Ninetales. However, they activate my Weakness Policy, which is really big because I threatened to kill both the mons on the field right here. And in addition to that, I get a little bit of healing from my Ice Body, which may make me able to survive some attacks in the future. So here, the play is 100% Icy win because Tapu Fini outspeeds Mr. Rhyme. And the big question is, do I want to Shadow Ball into Aegislash or Freeze Dry into Tapu Fini? And I decide to go for the Tapu Fini because I think Aegislash is more likely to feel the need to switch into its shield form. However, neither of them go for a Protect, which is not the end of the world. I'm pretty fine with trading Mr. Rhyme for Tapu Fini here, or Ninetales for Tapu Fini here. because I do connect, and now Tapu Fini is going to be slower than Mr. Rime, and the Freeze Dry at +2 ends up getting the clean kill from this range. And so here I'm definitely expecting Mr. Rime to go down, and however, they just go for a Brick Break, which does pretty good damage into Ninetales and breaks the Aurora Bell because it gets the crit. However, my +2 Mr. Rime is alive, which I definitely think was the more concerning thing. So definitely a little bit strange targeting there. Maybe they're just expecting to kill the Mr. Rime with a Moonblast. But now I feel like I'm in very good shape because they revealed to have no mons faster than Ninetales, and as we see, they have Avalok here, and I have Focus Blast on Mr. Rime, so I can just go for a clean kill on it with the Focus Blast. And so here I decided to go for Icy Wind. The Icy Wind doesn't do much except break Sturdy on the Avalok in case it's Sturdy instead of some other ability. The reason why that would be relevant, and they also go for this shield, King Shield to get back into shield form. So this ends up being a really good turn if I'm able to connect this Focus Blast. Obviously, Focus Blast is known for missing, and I'm a little bit concerned about that. But we are able to connect the Icy Wind, which means that if they are, regardless of if they're sturdy or not, we should be able to get the kill if we connect, because we're at +2, and this should kill even through AV. And we get the Focus Blast, and it connects, which is huge. Definitely, every time I click that move, I definitely hold my breath because that's concerning. But that's the reason why I have Focus Blast on the set, is to specifically for mons like Avalok, which Shadow Ball, Psychic would not at all threaten to kill. So their final mon ends up being Stoutland. Stoutland ends up revealing that it's Intimidate, which is expected, but good to confirm. And so here, Stoutland honestly is not a mon that frequently runs Protect, and so I decided to just go for the Icy Wind Focus Blast again. Focus Blast should guarantee kill Stoutland, unless it's Choppleberry, and I should outspeed pretty much guaranteed if at -1. And so obviously, I could see an argument to try to go for a more consistent damage with Freeze Dry, because with the Freeze Dry, I'm definitely not going to miss. However, I decided to go for the big play and just go for the kill. So they end up going for a double King Shield and get it. Luckily for me, because that means that even if I don't hit here, I don't take any damage from that attack. But with the Icy Wind, we were able to lower the speed of the Stoutland, getting it down to -1, which means Mr. Rime should outspeed. And luckily for us, we connect another Focus Blast, and at +2 special attack, it's a clean kill from that range. And also, we see it's not a Choppleberry, which is good news for the future. And now, though the hell is done, we are in amazing shape. They have 1 Pokemon to our 4 Pokemon. In addition, I have +2 Mr. Rime here that can click with super effective Shadow Ball. And so here, the easiest play is just go for the Moonblast and the Shadow Ball. I'm not positive this is going to kill from this range, but it should definitely do enough in which the following turn I should kill with one of my mons to the back, or if they don't kill Mr. Rime. As we see, the Moonblast does almost no damage because it's resisted, and Ninetales is not the most offensive this week. However, +2 Shadow Ball ends up killing from that range, which is honestly a little more than I was expecting. But with that, we really nice. We get our first win of the match, and with that, we can go to game 2. So here we are for game 2. So game 1 went amazingly. I won 4-0, and I didn't even reveal the back 2 mons in my team. And so the big question is, given the fact that they don't know what my last 2 mons were, it's hard for them to adjust too much to my back. And so I'm just thinking about whether or not I should change up my back. In addition, I don't think there's any reason to change up my lead. With Ninetales and then one of my fake out mons, the big question is Mr. Rime better than Weavile? And with the fact that Aegislash has Brick Break, I believe that Mr. Rime is better, because it is always bad for them to get a free Brick Break into a mon that Brick Break is super effective into. And so given the fact that Mr. Rime and Ninetales both aren't weak to Brick Break, makes it a little bit cleaner to just go Ninetales Mr. Rime lead again. And, I didn't learn anything really about any of the mons other than Tapu Fini, so it was a little bit tricky to figure out how I should change up the sets, because I kind of killed most of the mons really quickly, and so I decided to just go with the exact same 4 as I did in game 1. Like I said, I think this could be a little bit of an issue. I think Darmanitan probably it could be justifiable because I believe Darmanitan outspeeds their entire team, and so I don't need like the speed control from IC1 and Ninetales. However, I think it's pretty fine to just go with the same 4. So they end up leading Tapu Fini Aegislash again, and I lead my same lead as last time, which is the Mr. Rhyme and Ninetales. So, as we see the same interaction with getting the Hell up and the Misty Surge up. However, it's definitely interesting to see them lead the same lead because, they ended up losing. So definitely expecting them to maybe try to switch up a little bit of what they did. So here, I still think the correct play is just Aurora Bell on turn 1. Yes, they have Brick Break. However, if they Brick Break, they don't do nearly as much damage to my team. And if they don't Brick Break, this is, the optimal play. And then we just go for the Shadow Ball into the Aegislash because last game they protected with Tapu Fini instead of attacking on turn 1. So we get the Aurora Veil up, which, is obviously really good if they don't set up, if they don't Brick Break. And the Muddy Water ends up missing the Mr. Rhyme, which is really nice for me. However, it's not like it's going to do too much damage with the Aurora Veil. And we see that, with the Aurora Veil, the Ninetales takes very minimal damage. We get the Shadow Ball off. And the Shadow Ball is able to do pretty good damage, maybe about 30-35% into the shield form Aegislash. And Aegislash here just ends up going for a Brick Break, which, does, about 20% into the Mr. Rhyme and breaks my screens. So though it's awkward that, I lost my screens, the damage on both my Pokemons were pretty minimal, especially with the Ice Body healing on Mr. Rhyme. So here, I decide to just go for Aurora Bell again. Obviously, there's a chance that I might go for Brick Break again. However, Tapu Fini's damage output when I have Veil up is really low. And so I don't think it's that big of a deal. And so here I decided to go for Shadow Ball. I don't want to freeze dry Tapu Fini and activate its weakness policy. I can see an argument to, hit it because I'm slower and then the following turn try to finish it off with Ninetales. But I decided to just go for the Shadow Ball into the Aegislash instead. They end up switching out Aegislash instead of going for King's Shield and to Stoutland, which is definitely a little bit awkward because my Shadow Ball is going to completely be useless. However, it's also not that big of a deal in my opinion, given the fact that neither of my mons are that offensively pressured, especially with this Aurora Veil going up. And so they just go for another Muddy Water. They double connect this time. And as we see, it does okay damage to both of these, but it doesn't do that bad of damage to either of them. And like I said, I'm getting a little chip on all these mons, and I think I'm definitely doing good shape, especially because my more offensive mons are in the back. So here, I think I'm just going to do the same strategy as I did in the previous match, which was Icy Wind Focus Blast. Obviously, we don't know this damage calc because last time I was at +2 special attack, so I'm hoping this kills. It just kind of depends on if it's a fast offensive or if it's a more bulky support-oriented one. So Tapu Fini protects, which is definitely optimal for me because that means I'm not taking any damage from it. And we get the Icy Wind off, lowering the speed into the Stoutland here, which lets our Mr. Rhyme outspeed like it did in Game 1, and hopefully we hit this Focus Blast. And Focus Blast ends up connecting, which is really good. So 3 for 3 so far, and however it does not kill, which is definitely a little bit sad. However, all they do is end up going for a Rock Blast. And the Rock Blast, though lowering the speed of Ninetales, does not do a massive amount of damage. So here Stoutland's at incredibly low HP, and so the plan here is just to get a little bit of damage onto the Fini and finish up the Stoutland with the Icy Wind. I could definitely see an argument for Freeze Dry, but I am going to go first because the Tapu Fini is going to be at -1 speed, so I don't want to activate a weakness policy. So I decided to just go for the Icy Wind and Shadow Ball. So even though I'm at -1, Ninetales actually outspeeds Tapu Fini, which is good information to know. I was definitely not expecting it to outspeed, but because I outspeed, the Stoutland dies, and I'm able to get the attack off before Tapu Fini moves. And we don't end up doing too much damage. And the Moon Blast ends up going into Mr. Rhyme. I definitely think that there's an argument for them to have killed the Ninetales instead of going for the Mr. Rhyme there. However, I don't think it's too You know, I think they just kind of want to stall out my hell is their plan. So they end up bringing out Avalog, and so here I'm deciding to switch out because I want to switch out and to save Hell for later in the match because this is the last turn of Hell. And the big question is do I want to switch out into Arctivish or Rotom? So Rotom is a little bit better because it should threaten Avalog a little more. And so I decided to bring out the Rotom, and I just go for the Focus Blast and the Avalog, which should do big damage. So one thing that's going on this entire match is that I've been ignoring the Tapu Fini pretty much because I actually don't care about it because with Aurora Veil up, its damage output is very minimal. And all it can really do is hope for special attack drops and Muddy Water drops with its moves. So sadly though, we missed our Focus Blast. So our first miss of the round. So I'm 3 for 4, which is about average, so can't be too upset about that. What I am somewhat a little bit upset about is that my Rotom ends up taking a special attack drop on the switch in, and the Heavy Slam ends up killing my Mr. Rhyme. Mainly the special attack drop is the annoying one, but we're not in the worst shape because even though it's a -1, Rotom still is a really big offensive threat. And so here we bring out the Ninetales because we want the Hell back up. I could definitely see an argument for bringing out Arctivish and then switching the Rotom out for the Ninetales instead. However, at this point, I definitely think that we need special coverage for the Avalog because it's more physically bulky. And we have multiple turns of the Aurora Veil up still. And so here we just go for the double up with Moonblast and Thunderbolt into the Avalog. Thunderbolt is just kind of the best consistent damage across the board since we know Aegislash in the back. Tapu Fini goes for Protect, which is very good for us because we didn't actually care about it. And we are able to get the Moonblast off. So Moonblast does about 20%, and Thunderbolt at -1 does about 30-ish, 35-ish%. However, we definitely can see that did a lot less than I was expecting because I wouldn't have been surprised if that double up killed, which means that I'm pretty much positive that the Avalog is Assault Vest. In addition, it reveals to be Ice Bunny. And because Avalog I'm almost positive is Assault Vest, I decided to go for the double up again. This double up should now kill it. And in addition, it has a pretty good chance to kill an Aegislash switch in too, so it's just pretty much a safe attack. So we end up getting the Moonblast off into the Avalog, which does pretty good damage, and then the Thunderbolt is enough to get the kill. So the crit definitely didn't matter based on how the damage counts went a little bit earlier. And we see the Muddy Water just comes out on Tapu Fini. And as we can kind of see, with this damage output, it's not doing that much damage. And I definitely think it's fair that I've been ignoring the Tapu Fini most of the game. However, that special or that accuracy drop can be very annoying on the Ninetales, which means I might be able to miss one of my moves. And so here I'm 100% see both. I expect one of them to protect and one of them to attack. I can kill either of them with the double up. I don't think I can kill either of them with a single attack, except for the Thunderbolt into Tapu Fini. So, however, I decided to split up my damage to play around Protect on one of them. I think I probably should have switched my targeting, because Thunderbolt should kill Fini from this range. So I probably should have Moonblast and Thunderbolt. They end up going for no Protects. My Moonblast, which when Tapu Fini ends up missing, and then my Thunderbolt ends up doing pretty good damage, but not killing the Aegislash. So Aegislash ends up getting a Brick Break off, breaking the screens, finishing off the Rotom, which, definitely a little bit annoying, but not the end of the world. And the Muddy Water ends up missing the Ninetales, however, which is huge. Definitely got a little bit lucky on that miss. However, they got a little bit lucky on my miss too, so I think it hopefully balances out a little bit. And we have Arctivish in the back. So Arctivish is not concerned about Tapu Fini in the slightest because I'm Assault Vest and Tapu Fini doesn't have any super effective moves into it. So the only thing I'm really concerned about with the Arctivish is Aegislash. However, if I Fishious Rend into the Aegislash and a King Shield, I get an attack drop, which could be annoying. And so I decide to go for the Fishious Rend into the Tapu Fini and the Moonblast into the Aegislash spot. The Fishious Rend is my best damage to Tapu Fini, and I should outspeed it. I don't expect the kill from this range, but it should be doing pretty good damage. So they do, in fact, end up going for King Shield, which is the reason why I didn't want to attack into that spot, because getting the attack drop could be really detrimental at this point. And the Fisher Wren just goes into the Tapu Fini and just barely misses out on the KO. However, it should be in range of the Hell this turn. So Tapu Fini feels the need to go for a Muddy Water, which luckily misses for Arctivish. Missing is not that big of a deal based on damage. It's mainly a big deal because I did not want an accuracy drop on my Arctivish, because without the accuracy drop, I think this game is guaranteed over. But if they did get an accuracy drop, I definitely think there was a chance they could have got there. However, we were able to see that Fini dies from the Hell Chip, which is, definitely real big. And at this range, Aegislash likely is in range of a Fishious Wren. And so we just click Fishious Wren, which is our best coverage, into Aegislash. Aegislash doesn't go for the King Shield, and the Fishious Wren connects and is able to kill the Aegislash, getting us our win, and we make it through the first round of playoffs. This is definitely a close game 2. Game 1 was definitely, very convincing win. I definitely think that they played well, prepped pretty well. I definitely think that I could have played a little bit cleaner. I think I spent too many turns in with Ninetales kind of being on the field when I could have switched in either Arctivish or Rotom to do a little bit more damage. Definitely, however, was pretty happy with the Mr. Rime Ninetales performances. They definitely did massive work and stayed in the field a lot longer than I was expecting. But with that, we make it to round 2, and we shall see who we end up playing. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and see y'all next time.